Hey guys, I just realized something. You may have heard about the creepypasta, Few Suggestions, Abandoned by Disney, and Room Zero. They're a trilogy, all connected. And although all weird things seem disconnected, I realized that that might not be the case. So you see, in the in the Few Suggestions, there's this crazy guy running around in a Mickey Mouse costume, painting things and whatever, which most likely makes sense that it's in that resort that was abandoned. See, I think he would still in the reptile house. I don't know. But then I realized something even worse. Maybe he died in his costume, like what was described in Room Zero. And maybe it happened before the events of Room Zero. Although I don't know. I have other weird theories about that, but I'd rather not discuss them here. Now, he wrote Abandoned by Disney everywhere. That's probably what he painted, but why? But maybe he's not talking about the park at all. There's a part in Abandoned by Disney where he hears someone saying, "I thought your father told you." I didn't know that. I didn't know. What if someone is talking to the same man? And maybe that man is Disney's son, which would, and maybe he, as a baby, was abandoned because Walt Disney divorced his original wife, who is secret, really. And maybe someone told him later, and he got angry inside the store on that stage during that showing of the concept of Mowgli's palace. Shows anger. And later on, dressed in that costume in the same place, in order to vandalize and ruin Disney's name in any small way he could, by writing Abandoned by Disney, since he was abandoned by his own father. Now, he wore the costume so often that it probably gave him sores, and he died in his own costume, dropped dead. And even after death, he still caused havoc. Like in Room Zero, I've theorized that maybe after death, a spirit can travel through time, which probably explains why he haunted Room Zero and how he could have done it. And then it also explains the Mickey costume. Maybe his spirit, he made it to look like the Mickey costume he possessed, he wore, only he made it like that to truly frighten people. And you know how he could never get his head off because of the things? That's why the blood was green, to make it look like a decaying corpse's yucky insides. Now, so the spirit of Walt Disney maybe also murdered some of the other mascots and dragged him down there as a ghost, as that costume, and murdered him right there, which explains the skull and the Donald Duck costume. Now, what explains the abandoned by God thing? Maybe he was left to roam the earth forever after death, so he felt abandoned by God, which is really makes sense. He just decided to cradle his havoc, scare that poor old lady and haunt her, ruin her life, really. He even followed that guy who explored the island back to his own home, and maybe he's hoping that somehow that guy could uncover the truth, reveal to the world how, as a baby, the original son of Disney was abandoned at infancy, I meant to say. even after death. I can imagine how that could turn someone insane. So yeah, it's Walt Disney's secret and abandoned son. So his son was abandoned by Disney. So that's why it says abandoned by Disney. It made it look like it was a protest against Disney abandoning the park. But it was really him showing his anger that he was abandoned by his one and only, his father at infancy. Anger beyond the grave is strong. It can give someone a power that is very hard to control. Even though they have this illusion of control, it's never true. So yeah, that's my theory about the trilogy, the Abandoned by Disney trilogy. A few suggestions, Room Zero, whole thing. You gotta admit, it makes more sense than anything. In fact, the spirit of Disney's son makes more sense than any other possibility. It's all connected. It's all because of him. Although Disney probably let out the wildlife, I think he left out the reptiles because of his hate of that music in there, or music he might have created. He let them out so they wouldn't have to live in a place created by the one man that abandoned him at childbirth. So yeah, that's my theory about that trilogy, and really, it makes more sense than many that I choose to realize. And I hope that maybe a sequel should be made. I mean, think about it. Maybe it should be about how the guy discovers what I just discussed to you, my theory, and later somehow helps the spirit realize that even though he still will always be angry, it's help him realize that taking his anger out on innocent people is the way. But it's just trying to reveal the truth to the world. Now that will be the proper way for him to express his anger, and hopefully inform the world of the wrongdoings Walt Disney did. So if that guy from Abandoned by Disney helps him do that, I think that would be a very good idea for a new continuation. Only it might have to be fan written because I think you're not allowed to make sequels to creepypastas anymore on the wiki, or like the ones that are already